Hey there everybody, it is Thursday, June 16th, and it is time for my sketchbook review. It's been a relatively productive week. I was able to get a few art pieces done. I did some sketching, and I did finally get a call back on my job, so I spent a good portion of my week running around taking care of things for that. I had to go get a TB test done, I had to go get proof of vaccinations and things like that. And that actually took up quite a bit of time, but as it was, it wasn't too much of my time. It just kind of, it exhausts me when I have to make trips to multiple places. Like going to the hospital, going to another hospital, going back to the hospital, going to the doctor's office, going back to the school, coming back home, looking through my records, things like that. It does kind of wear on me pretty quickly. So I've been trying to break it up throughout the week, and right now I've got everything done except I need to go get my tuberculin test read again. And I have to take proof of my vaccinations in with me when I do that. If not, then I'll have to just get revaccinated, which isn't a big deal, or they can pull titers, whichever one is cheapest. And yeah, so there's really not that much more. My projected start date will be Monday the 20th, so it's exactly next Monday. So that'll be pretty exciting. I'm nervous, but I'm happy at the same time because I'm ready to work. I'm ready to do something again. So let's go ahead and get into the artwork. Oh, funny story about my job, by the way. I accepted my offer last night. Well, yesterday morning they woke me up and they made an official offer to me and asked me if I was interested, and I was like, yes, I'm interested, because they had been the only ones to call. And then at like 8 o'clock last night, one of the other hospitals called me to offer me a position, and I was like, no, because that hospital I had applied to 4 weeks ago and have not heard anything from since. And the other place called me within a week. So, and it was, the other place was, the one I accepted the job to was the hospital I wanted to be in anyway. But the other, yeah, they called me at 8 o'clock at night. I was like, who does that? What HR department calls people at 8 o'clock at night to offer them a job? And I'm like, I understand that hospitals are 24 hours, but I'll tell you what, that was just, that blew my mind. I was like, really? You're gonna call me this late? But I didn't accept the job anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I just thought it was funny that the second I accepted a job, I got offered another one. Don't mind me, I'm a little thirsty today. Anyway, well, tonight. But let's go ahead and get into the art. First and foremost, you guys saw this in my cheap art supply challenge. It's just sort of a storybook kind of version of Piper that I've got running. She's gone over very well in a more cutesy storybook sort of fashion, and I really kind of want to play with it a little bit more. I want to branch out, maybe do some other animals or whatever. Again, it's highly stylized, it's highly inspired by David Peterson and Andy Marin over there on Instagram. She has a YouTube as well. I'm going to go ahead and link that below because I feel like she needs more love, and she's a very sweet girl. So I'm going to go ahead, and she has a very, very adorable baby. Just saying. But yes, it was very much inspired by those two people. Yeah, so I went ahead and tried it, and it worked actually very well for the cheap art supply challenge. Yeah, I didn't have too much difficulty with it, but I don't even know what I'm going to do with this. I guess it's going to go in a folder somewhere. I did quite a bit of color work this week. I'll go ahead and get straight into that since I like it. So I'm not sure if I showed this one yet. This was a Jessica Rabbit that I had done. It was a little bit stylized in my version of humans and stuff like that, but I really enjoyed doing it. It turned out a lot better than I thought it would. I'm amazed at how smooth that red turned out. I'm actually very shocked. I actually was thinking about going through with a white jelly roll and adding little sequin sparkles to her, but I just never got around to it. I did a live stream and I asked people what I should do, and I was asked, or well, it was suggested I do a Pokemon. So of course I'm going to do my favorite Pokemon, which is Ducklet. And yeah, it's a cute little Ducklet. A little wonky. in terms of anatomy, but whatever. This was me experimenting more with that storybook sort of style. This is supposed to be Gene, which is Kay's character. I sort of mouseified him, but I'm going to work on his design a little bit more. I think I can actually bring it out a little bit. He seems too small. I was going to make him bigger. This is supposed to be Piper. This is supposed to be this version of Piper, but she looks kind of ridiculous like this, so either it's a bad angle or I just don't know how to draw, which, you know, both are perfectly good reasons. But yeah, I liked how the background turned out. Again, this would have actually translated very well into watercolor as well. So my cardinals are out there going nuts because it's dark time and they want to make noise. I don't know why. And then I borrowed Kay's character, Samuel, and okay, we're gonna do this. Little bit of an interruption from the sketchbook review. Those are my chickens out there, by the way, guys. But yes, we don't need to hear the cardinals squawking. My goodness. They were quiet all day long, haven't fussed or nothing, and now they're fussing because I'm on my camera. Sorry, I'm not editing that out. But this is Kay's character, Samuel. He's very sly, kind of shifty, kind of a slimy character. And of course, this is my version of Piper. I chose her to be like a golden wheat mouse because I wanted her to kind of stand out in comparison with all the other mice, but at the same time I'm like, you know, I don't want to do like that special snowflake, like, oh, she's a Mary Sue mouse or anything, because she looks different than everybody else. It's just that she came from a different place than the field mice do. The field mice are more camouflaged to fit into the forest and the foliage and things like that. She's actually meant to be more in like fields of wheat and things like that, hence the wheat mice. But I may change up her design. At the very least, I'm thinking about changing up her colors to match more of her mouse tones for her anthropomorphic form. Anyway, none of that has anything to do with this. But he's booping her nose. Look at, he's such a nose booper. And look at, I even got like that shifty look in his eyes. It is actually a big challenge to give them expressions without mouths. I'm very dependent on my mouths because I work the face as a whole, but without an actual mouth, it's really, really difficult. Okay, this is Miss Kitty from The Great Mouse Detective. Again, this was requested and I went ahead and did it. It's, yeah, I got lazy on the background, just did a simple gradient, and I inked horribly. Ugh. But yes, there's Miss Kitty. And then this was Piper dressed up as a nurse. Just because I was looking at 1940s uniforms, nurse uniforms. That sort of fashion actually does kind of interest me, and I think it's funny that that's what they used to wear. But then again, when you stop and think about it, their jobs were like way different than they are today. Today it's like nurses do so much more than they did back in the 40s and 50s and even 60s. The job has grown so much that and there are nurses who still wear skirts. I see them every now and then, but part of me is like, ooh, you're brave, because I couldn't do it. As many times as I have been pushed and shoved, as many times as I have had to climb up and around, as many times as I have had patients accidentally pull me over in a certain direction, I would not feel safe doing it. And then this was a quick doodle I actually did earlier today of Piper sort of parkouring, but she's going down to reach for something. I just kind of wanted to do a diving pose, so I'm going to fill this in and marker this, and I'll do an update on it next week. So yes, so that's it for my color sketchbook. Now for the sketches, which primarily were done in the live stream this week, and I'm actually thinking about live streaming here in a second while I upload my video, but we'll see. But again, this is more of that storybook version of Piper. Because this one right here is so stinking adorable. I actually want to finish this one. I think I'm going to pull out my good watercolors, transfer this over, and actually have fun with that. The bat is a creation of Grave PTA over on DeviantArt and for Affinity and everything like that. He has a Patreon as well. He made a cute little bat character, and it was orange, and he uploaded it, and I think he called it Dirt Bat. I'm not 100% sure. But I thought it was really cute, so I just kind of grabbed him and ran with it a little bit. And then I have Piper back here grabbing onto his feet, and the way that bats fly is like their back feet flap around. It's really funny. It looks like ridiculous, but it's actually, they do very well with it. So I just kind of doodled her making a bad decision to grab onto his feet, and then her giving him a hug, because look, oh, it's so cute. And then up there she's just kind of cleaning the floor. And then in the stream, people requested that I do a Sherlock Holmes sort of fashion that, based on the Great Mouse Detective. So what I did was I did a stylization of Basil and Dawson from the Great Mouse Detective as these cutesy little illustrative mices that I had done. And I tried to get as much detail as possible. I got his tie, I got the pipe, his hat with the little bow. I took off their pants because whatever. And then the same with Dawson. I did keep his facial hair in and his big bushy eyebrows. And I made him a chunky little guy. That was supposed to be Miss Kitty. It turned out horrible. And this was just kind of a funny thing. I was talking about how this seems like the submission of the entire Sherlock Holmes thing is Watson always saying no and Sherlock always saying yes. So. Then there was a request for Amy Fowler, and I did a quick doodle of her. The anatomy was just like, ugh, so I kind of abandoned it. Then I did a practice Miss Kitty. I did this one first, and then I did the one in the other sketchbook, the finished one. And then someone in stream requested Thorn from the Scooby-Doo movie. She's the lead singer for the Hex Girls. I want to say that she was voiced by Lana Del Rey or something like that. Someone like that. I believe she worked in Avatar: The Last Airbender. I want to say she did. Don't quote me on that though. I'm probably wrong. It's just a fun little fact that's been knocking around in my head. But yeah, she's from The Witch's Ghost, and they asked for her, which was weird. I didn't think that like people liked the character, but it actually got a really, really good response. So okay. I just kind of doodled this guy for funsies. It's really nothing. I was just kind of moving my pencil, and that's what came. And this was supposed to be Gene as a Canadian Mountie, a Canadian Royal Mountie, and it just turned out terrible, so I abandoned it. I did a Lorraine in that 1600s clothing that I had drawn them in 1600s clothing beforehand with that little Cinderella story thing going on, and then I drew him in the same clothing but post makeout with some lady, and he's putting his coat back on. This was going to be Gene Mouse, but I was tired for the night and I kind of left it at this and then started fresh the next day, which wasn't very much because I just started getting blocked. I started thinking about things for work, but this was a variation of bringing Lorraine into that cutesy sort of illustrative style, but I'm going to work on that a little bit more because I just don't like how it's turning out. But yes, overall that's it for the week. Lots of variation. Having switched my style the way that I did into this more cutesy form has actually kind of opened me up to a little bit of I'm sort of thinking in a different way, and it's actually been very inspirational. I mean, I've gone back to my anthropomorphic a bit, but really most of my time I want to work on this version. Like I want to take this and finish it and things like that. So I'm kind of flip-flopping in between the two. I'm trying not to get too caught up in any one thing right now, but as time goes, excuse me, I had a hiccup. As time goes on, I'm just going to go with what feels natural and comfortable to do. That's how I always do my art, and that's how I encourage everybody to do their art. Experiment in styles and do it before you're at a professional level, because you don't want to look like a wishy-washy professional, someone who switches styles all the time. What you want is a nice, good, full portfolio showcasing the different kinds of styles you can do, but you want to develop that before you actually get into a job or a profession, because, you know, at a professional level, you should kind of know what you're doing already, and you should already know what you can put on the table as an offer. Nothing's to say that you can't keep learning, and I would never, ever, ever will say that, because I'm still learning, but I felt like as a kid I was so stupid because I didn't experiment. I didn't go outside my comfort zone. I drew the same thing day in, day out. It was all anime style stuff, and I suffered for that because lots of jobs closed as a possibility. So as somebody who's been through the ringer and who's done gone and made all these mistakes, I highly encourage you guys to really explore different art styles. Challenge yourself to try taking a concept or a character you have and putting them into a storybook format, something that appeals to a child's level, or even just that sort of style, a storybook style. I challenge you guys to do Western comics, Eastern comics, pull out illuminated manuscripts and things like that, and try doing lettering and things like that. I mean, the art world is so massive that it's almost a shame that we tend to limit ourselves to what we like. We tend to limit ourselves to, oh, I'm only going to draw anthropomorphic, or I'm only going to draw anime, or I'm only going to draw realism, So, I mean, that's just something I've been thinking about as I'm having so much fun with this new style. I mean, I felt the same way when I started drawing anthropomorphics. I absolutely refused to for years because of the stigma that came along with it, which is ridiculous because, yeah, there's some weird people out there, and I will attest to that, whatever, I've run into them. But the fact of the matter is when it comes to art, you shouldn't be afraid to do the things or draw the things that you like to do. If you like drawing not suitable for work, by all means, do it. I mean, understand that actions have consequence, and if you draw a bunch of dongs and you put a bunch of dongs out there, you're gonna attract a couple people who don't like dongs. That's just the name of the game. That is life in general. So, I mean, at least enjoy what you're drawing. And, I say don't worry about what other people think, but I worry about what people think all the time. But at the same time, I'm like, screw them. They want to say something, they say something. They're entitled to their opinion, but I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. And when they see that they can't knock you down or make you feel bad about that, they usually do, end up leaving you alone, and they'll move on to the next person. But it is what it is. That's my little advice of the day. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked what you saw, feel free to like, subscribe, comment below. I am going to announce it in here, but eventually I'm going to put up a video too. I am almost at 6,000 subscribers, and I think I'm going to do a Q&A session for it. You guys are free to ask any questions you want. I'm going to start taking them now because it's going to be a little while before I actually get there. I think I have a little over 150 subscribers to go. So what I probably will do is just post it on my Instagram and stuff like that, and just kind of collect all the questions and then get them going now. And then hopefully once I hit 6,000, I'll already have the questions ready to go, and then I could just record the video and have the questions ready. But yes, so that's a plan for the future, and I think I'm going to do a speed paint this weekend of possibly this right here, because look at how cute it is. It's so flippin' cute. But alright, other than that, I hope you guys have an excellent weekend. Happy Father's Day to you fathers out there. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next sketchbook review.